Hey everybody, this is Tracy here to recap Fox's new drama entitled Star. And tonight was the series premiere. And if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, there was a pilot that ran around the time, I think it was like December 14th, and then they re-aired it again the following week. But I did not recap it, which I should have, because I think if you're new to the show, you're probably going to get a little lost with some of the characters. So let me see if I can do like a quick recap of the pilot. So basically, it's about a girl group that's trying to form, and it includes Star, who's in foster care, but she's been kicked out of her foster home. And then she goes to save her sister, Simone, who's staying in another foster home. And she goes to the caseworker and begs the caseworker to give her Simone's information because I guess Star is like close to 18 or something, or she's about to age out of the system, or yeah, she was about to age out of the system. So she wants to take care of Simone, and the social worker is like, no, I can't give you that information. But then she eventually does give Star the information. So Star goes to get Simone, and so we find out that Simone is in a foster home that is, the father is sexually abusing her. And so Star walks in and catches the guy raping Simone, and she stabs the guy in the back, and then they steal his car and they leave. And I think they were like up north somewhere, and they drive down to Atlanta, because in the files that the caseworker gave Star, there was some letters from a lady named Carletta, who I guess when their mother died, why am I saying I guess like I'm watching the show? I'm letting you guys know. So basically, Carletta, who's played by Queen Latifah, is was the best friend of Simone and Star's mother. And the mother, I think, died of a drug overdose. And then we find out that Simone actually has some drug and alcohol issues, and she may be bipolar or something, taking medication for, some kind of mental illness. And oh, and by the way, there's a black girl involved. So Simone looks like she might be biracial. Star looks like she's definitely white. And then they have a friend named Alexandra that they met online. And so Alexandra writes music. And so together they decide they're going to create this star group, this band. But what the girls don't know is that, and I shouldn't say band, they're going to start a group. And so what the girls don't know about Alexandra is that she is the daughter of a famous, and I couldn't figure out if he's a music producer or if he's a actual singer, but Alexandra's father is played by Lenny Kravitz. And so she doesn't like, she's your typical, spoiled kid, wants to do it their own way, doesn't want to follow her father's rules. She wants to become a success. And I guess he doesn't want her to be in the music business because he knows how it is. So the three of them are in the foster father's stolen car. They change the license plates on the car, and then they drive down to Atlanta, where they hook up with Queen Latifah, and she takes them in. And Queen Latifah owns a beauty salon, and she's also very active in the church. And so she's trying to get the girls into the church, and Simone is kind of like following along with her. But Star has other plans, and she goes to this nightclub. Alexandra gets them where they're going to be in like a talent show, but they go to the talent show and it turns out to be like a dud. And so as they're leaving, Queen Latifah has what we thought was a daughter, but she's actually, I guess, transgender or something. And so she takes them to a strip club. Star performs. No, actually, Alexandra went home with Simone, and Star went to the strip club, and she performs for the guy, and the guy likes them, and he gets them a gig, and his nephew is a professional athlete, and he has like this big party or something, and so he gets them a gig performing at the party. And then we learned that the guy was actually Carletta, and the girl's mom was actually part of a group, and he was their manager. And so Carletta blames him, I guess, for getting the mom strung out on drugs and all this stuff. So anyway, so the the pilot ends with us going back to the foster father, and we find out that he didn't die from the stab wound. And so now we're picking up, it's the season premiere, and so it went really fast. And stay with me, please. So before we get started, leave in the comments and let me know who's your favorite actor on the show. Are you Team Alexandra, Team Stars, Team Simone, Team Carlotta, or do you like one of the other supporting cast members like Miss Lawrence and Carlotta's transgender son, daughter, however that goes. As for me, I like Simone. She's a little bit out there, but I kind of like her spirit. So let's get started. So the show opens with the girls having breakfast with their manager, and his name is like Hila Hijai. He's Puerto Rican or from Peru or somewhere. I'll get to his name, but until I remember his name, we'll just call him Manager Dude. And so Alexandra, she's all in his business. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Can you get us a demo? And I think he's kind of like taking on the role as manager without them signing any papers. And so Alexandra, she knows the business, because her father is in the music industry, and she doesn't want the girls to get taken advantage of. And so the scene moves and things move. Like as I'm giving you this play by play, this is how fast things were moving in the show, and just how you would go from one scene to another scene, and it was just like no filler, no setup, no nothing. So we leave from the breakfast scene, and we have Alexandra, and she's having sex with Derek, who lives next door, and we met him in the pilot series. And so I'm trying to think, how old are these girls? Because if Simone and Star were in foster care, that means that they're under the age of 18, right? And I'm thinking that Alexandra is probably like close to their age. But anyway, so Derek asked Alexandra, who is she and where is she from, because she's like a mystery to him. And so we learn that they have something in common, because he tells her that his mother died when he was 7 years old. And Alexandra has been telling everybody else that her mother is deceased. And then Derek also shares that his father was a police officer and that he was shot in the line of duty. And he said shot, as in maybe the father didn't die. So I don't know what the deal is with the father, and maybe he'll resurface. But he says that he has a lot of respect for his father. And then, of course, Alexandra doesn't have respect for her dad. And so all of a sudden we hear banging on the bedroom door, and we find out that it is Derek's grandma. And she's like, I know you got some girl up in there. I want to know who's in there. And, you need to get her out of my house. And so Derek is basically like telling her to go and mind her own business. And then we move on to Carletta's. Like I say, she has a beauty salon. So the first floor of her house is the beauty salon, and then upstairs is the living quarters. And so she is livid when she learns that the girls had gone and performed with the manager guy, because, I forgot to tell you when I was talking about the pilot, there was a scene where Carletta goes to the manager guy and pulls a gun on him and tell him to leave the girls alone, and that if he doesn't leave them alone, that she's going to hurt him. And so, he still went ahead and did the gig with them at his nephew's party. And then now he's trying to get them into some talent showcase. So they're talking about that when Carletta walks into the room. We also find out in this scene that Simone is having dreams about the foster father guy, and that in her dreams he didn't die from the stab wounds. I don't know if she has visions or what, but we know that homeboy didn't die. So I think that's interesting that she keeps having these dreams that he's coming for her. And so we go to the manager guy, and he's on the phone, and it sounds like somebody has stolen his money, because in the pilot, he was telling Carlotta that he has money and that it was stored away offshore or something. So whoever had access to that money appears to have taken the money. And so there's a knock at the door, and when he goes and opens the door, it's Carletta, and she like punches him in the face. And so the two get to arguing, and he's telling her that the girls are really talented, and to please let him have a chance at making them the stars that he couldn't make Carletta and the mother. And so Carletta basically tells him no, that she doesn't want that, and that if he continues to pursue the girls, that she's going to tell them the truth about him, and that, and how he caused the mother to die. And so the shenanigans, in this beauty salon, I think is going to be the business for the show, because that's really the most entertaining part. And Miss Lawrence, if you remember from Real Housewives of Atlanta, of Atlanta, and then he had the show with Derek J where they were doing like the fashion queens or whatever. So he's one of the stylists in the beauty salon, and he's always in their business. And then it turns into like a glee moment where like it's the queens in the beauty salon are like performing, and then Alexandra gets to dreaming, and then she's performing, and they're talking. It's just a whole lot going on in this scene, and then next thing we know, it's the end of the song, and Alexandra is like sliding across the floor. But before she started dancing, she was actually having a flashback to being a little girl, and she's in the car, so we know that Lenny Kravitz plays her dad, but then Naomi Campbell is in the car as well. And so I'm thinking, okay, is Naomi Campbell her mother, or like what's that all about? Because she's just like basically talking to her like it's a mother-daughter situation. So then we get to the scene where she's like sliding across the floor because she done got caught up in this dream sequence with the guys dancing. And then she slides across the floor, and then all of a sudden we see Naomi Campbell, and she's standing there, and she's like, Alexandra, get up off that floor. And then we realize that Lenny Kravitz and Naomi have found Alexandra. They've been looking for her, so they traced her to the beauty salon. And all I'm sitting there thinking is, can you imagine if Lenny Kravitz and Naomi Campbell had a child in real life, like what that child would be like? And I'm thinking it wouldn't be Alexandra on this show. And so the scene comes from commercial, and the girls are on the back steps. You know, they spend a lot of time on the back steps of Carletta's house. And so they're confronting Alexandra about her dad being a famous music industry person, and the fact that, you know, she lied about her mom being dead. So then they have a conversation with Alexandra, and basically telling Alexandra that she has to come home, that they're taking her back to New York or wherever they're from, and that they're going back to the W hotel where they're staying at, and that she had better be on their airplane when they get ready to board the plane. And I'm thinking, okay, that's really stupid that you went through all the trouble of tracking the girl down to get her and bring her back home, but then you're going to leave her at the house and trust her to meet you at the airport later on that night. Like that made no sense. And so Star goes after Naomi and Lenny, you know, but they drive off. And so Star is all about the business, you know, getting into the music industry by any means necessary. Whereas Alexandra, you know, she wants to do things her way. She wants to do it on her own without the help of her parents. And so then Derek walks up as all this shenanigans is going on. And so he finds out, I think it was Carletta's daughter, son, is I'll get it together eventually. So he tells Derek that Alexandra has been lying, and that, you know, she's the daughter of, and I think Lenny Kravitz's character name is Roland something. But anyway, that, you know, she's his daughter. And so then Derek is upset, and he's like, you know, you're a liar. I opened up and told you all my secrets, and you didn't tell the truth. And so he storms off and doesn't want to have anything to do with Alexandria. So then we're back to the manager guy, and he goes over to the nephew's house. Remember, he's the pro athlete, and he has all this money, and his mom is the manager. So I think the mom and the manager so the mom is the manager of the nephew, and I think that the manager dude and the mom are brother and sister. And so he's asking them for $30,000, you know, to invest in the girls and get them this demo done so that they can enter this contest that he's talking about. And so the sister name is Arlene, and she's like, I'm not giving you any money, because all you're going to do is snort it up, and, you know, we're not doing that with you this time. We've lost enough money behind you. And so, you know, and she tells him that if the girls are a specialist, he says they are, then he'll be able to find somebody else to back them. But then after he walks out, then the mom and the son are talking, and he's basically saying that he thinks that there's something special about Star, and that he may want to help the uncle out. And so the mother's just basically, you know, don't get yourself caught up on this girl and lose out. And so then we're back to Miss Lawrence, and she goes in to talk to Carletta and tells her that, you know, she needs to give everything to God and stop, you know, worrying about and trying to fight this battle on her own, and that the best thing she can do is tell the girls, Star and Simone, the truth about their mother and about the manager guy. And so I don't know if it was me, but Miss Lawrence was sounding a lot like Tyler Perry when he's playing Medea. So I don't know if he was trying to channel that or if it was just by accident or he's just doing too much in the show. But we all love Miss Lawrence. So then we move on to Lenny Kravitz slash Roland, and he's calling Alexandra and begging her to please come on, and tells her that she's the only one that can handle her mother, Naomi Campbell. And so in exchange, for her coming home, then he'll help her with her music, but she needs to drop Star and Simone. And of course, Alexandra doesn't want to do that. So then the next scene, we have Star, and I cannot believe she's still driving around in the foster dad's car, that they haven't ditched this car, or the fact that the police haven't found the car. But anyway, she goes to meet with the manager dude, and she lets him know about Alexandra's parents. And so, oh, his name is Roland Crane, is the name of Lenny Kravitz's character. And so the manager dude, he wants her to drop Simone and Alexandra and says that he'll try, and get her into stardom. But then Star says no, she'd rather try her luck with Roland. Then we have Naomi Campbell and Alexandra, and they're sitting down talking, and she wants to know, Naomi Campbell wants to know why Alexandra's going around telling people that she's dead, and she also wants to know, how did she meet Star? And then Naomi offers to let Alexandra return to she lives in London, I guess, and she wants Alexandra to return to London with her. And she says that if she goes back with her, that she will hook her up with like a music producer to help her get her music out there. And then I guess Lenny and Naomi have like an on and off again relationship, and now it's off again. So that's why she's going back to London. But of course, Alexandra isn't interested. Then in the next scene, because like I told y'all, it was going real fast here, we have Star, and she's at the W Hotel, and she's meeting with Roland. And so he lets her know that he doesn't want Alexandra in the music business. And Star tells him that, he could produce their demo. And, it's like Star isn't hearing anything he's saying, because she wants to be in this business. This is like her lifeline. This is her hope and her dream, on a better future. And so, he basically tells her that everybody wants to be a star, but few people are. And so I guess Star is about to give Papa some punani, because, she seduces him and tells him, come on, let's go upstairs. And like a little hoe ass he was, he got up and followed her. And once again, I'm asking myself, how old are these girls? And I think we did learn that Alexandra is actually 19, but I still think that Star and Simone are under the age of 18. So over at the church, we meet Pastor Tyrese. Yes, Tyrese the singer is playing the preacher of the church that Carletta attends. And so, she wants to talk about, when she was in this group, and I think the name of the group was Mixed Harmony, that she was in, and how it failed. And I guess that she wants to tell the girls, and she don't want to tell the girls. But Tyrese isn't listening to her. He's trying to figure out why they can't be friends outside of church. So Pastor Man trying to get his rap on. Then we head back over to the W Hotel, and we're up in the room, and we have Lenny Kravitz slash Roland. He's laying across the bed, and then we go into the bathroom, and Star is, kind of like zoned out. She's in this bubble bathtub. And then next thing you know, Naomi storms in, and she's trying to figure out what's going on. And, she's yelling and screaming, but nobody's really paying attention to her. And then Lenny, he's just like laying across the bed like it's no big deal that he has this underage minor naked in the bathtub. And he says something to Naomi, and she ends up storming out. And so back at the strip club, we got the chick with the, what was her name? She was on Love and Hip Hop of Atlanta, and she was a stripper that came from Miami, and her and Jocelyn were supposed to be friends, but Jocelyn said she wasn't her friend. And she had the pink hair, like all of her hairstyles, her hair is pink. Well, anyway, she was at the strip club working. So manager dude is there, he's watching her on the pole. And then all of a sudden, this person comes in, and It looked like a man in drag to me. It was like an older white man in drag, but he comes in and he sits down next to the manager dude, and basically the manager guy is asking him for the money, the $30,000 that he needs to do this demo. And so the guy or the girl or the woman, whatever it was, says to him, I'll give you half, but I'm not going to give you the whole amount. And so he says, okay, well, I'll take the half. And then the lady says to him, give me a kiss. And I'm just sitting there like, because this thing was like all wrinkled and just unattractive. And so the manager dude, he reaches over and he kisses him on the cheek, or her on the cheek. And then she's like, no, I want to kiss on the lips. And I'm just like, oh my God, like the things you will do for money. So he reaches over and kisses her on the lips, and there was like the stripper standing behind him looking at him like, what the hell is you doing? Like, what is that you kissing on? But I guess he needed the money, so he did what he had to do. So back at the house, Carletta wants to know, why Simone is always screaming in her sleep, and they're like downstairs in that backyard area. And then Star walks up, but before Simone can answer the question, Alexandra comes storming out of the house, and she's yelling at Star because Naomi has called her and told her about Star being in the bathtub. And so then Alexandra's like, she's fed up. She's had enough of Star and everything, and that she's leaving. So Carletta goes after Alexandra, to convince her not to leave. And she tells Alexandra that she should try Jesus. And Alexandra apologizes, for lying to everyone and for like being a royal pain in the behind since she's been there. And she says that, and then Star comes into the room, or somehow Star and Simone ended up in the room. I must have blinked or something. And so Star says that she didn't sleep with Lenny because she got caught up taking a bubble bath in the W Hotel, and that was like a real life experience for her. So she didn't get a chance to get over there and jump on old Daddy Pooh. And so back at the W, we have Lenny and Naomi, and they're arguing about Star when Carlotta and Alexandra walk up. And Alexandra gives him back all of her credit cards and says she's leaving. And Naomi tells him, to apologize to Alexandra, so they can all go home together and I guess be one big happy family. But Lenny says that he's not apologizing for wanting to give his daughter a better life than he had. And so Carletta, tells Lenny that he needs to stop chasing little girls and get back to working on his music, which sucks, by the way. And then when they get outside, we don't see Carlotta, but then Derek is there. And so he stops Alexandra and tells her, that he heard that she was leaving, but that he forgives her and that he really wants her to stay. Okay, so then we have Simone, and she's dreaming about, Mr. back up in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or wherever they done stabbed the man at. She's dreaming about him again, and so she goes downstairs to the salon, and she gets into somebody's pills and booze, and then Carletta yells out to her, and asks her, is she ready for church yet? So it looked like it was the middle of the night to me, but, we're going to go with the flow. So then Star confesses, she's upstairs with Alexandra, and she confesses to Alexandra that, she's a hoe, and she recognizes she's a hoe, and she's okay with being a hoe to get what she wants. And then Alexandra, tells her that she signed them up for some contest that they're trying to enter. And so at the church, Pastor Tyrese, he greets Carletta and Simone when they come in. And so he asks Simone, why won't she ever sing? And I'm thinking, Lord, I hope this girl don't get up there and show out in this church. And I couldn't tell if it was Sunday morning church, if they were just having choir rehearsal going on. I don't know. We're just moving on with the way the show moving on, okay? So it's finally at the end of the show. And we have like this Glee, you remember the show Glee? So we have this Glee moment with all three girls singing this song, and they're dancing around and everything. So Simone is at the church, rocking it out. The choir members who look like they could be her grandmother, they're going along with her, and they're kind of like grooving with her. And then we have Alexandra and Star back at the house, and they're singing their part of the song. And then someone slips the manager guy some money up under his door. floor, and then it goes back to the girls singing, and then we have Star and Alexandra, and they fall out on the floor laughing. And then back at the church, we have Simone, and she passes out, singing in the church. And so they rush her to the hospital. And then the show ends with the foster dad approaching the social worker and asking her, where is his daughter? And the show ended like that. So let's be honest here. This show is like a fast moving train that we are just waiting and watching crash and burn. These scenes are jumping all over the place and moving at like the speed of sound. I could barely keep up, if you couldn't tell. And if this recap was like convoluted and confusing and all over the place, it's because the show was convoluted, confusing, and all over the place. And I don't even have a question for you guys at the end of this recap. All I can say is leave whatever comments you have below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I bid you all a good night, and I shall see you the next time. Bye-bye.